So let's get rolling here. Welcome everybody, this is John for MTG Nexus coming at you with some Boros Burn tonight. This is streaming on Twitch as well as will be up on YouTube at a later point. This is the list that I built on stream several days ago, and also first time out took to a 5-0 off stream. So decent hype to live up to. We'll see if it can kind of match those accolades. But the main thing with this list is the return of Deflecting Palm in a build that I put together. We're back to the 4-path to exile because of the rise of Death's Shadow. We're somewhat trimming on core Firewalkers, obviously important in Red Mirrors. Relics of Progenitus, still my preferred way to counteract Uro because it has other utility in other matches. Wear Tear, nice to have the flexibility of dealing with enchantments as well as artifacts, even though we don't have the punishing power of Smash to Smithereens. 2 copies of Roiling Vortex seems to be about the right number in the current meta, along with 4 Skullcrack. And then beyond that, still running the 20 lands, 5 can lands. Do like the split on Blaze and Helix. Riftbolt, kind of a card that's a sacred cow in a lot of lists, but if you're playing Roiling Vortex, I think you need to be able to trim them. And obviously it's a little bit weaker against decks playing Teferi Time Raveler, as well as it's weak against Meddling Mage sometimes. And then beyond that, not really a whole lot to say. Last league out, like I said, I did well, but you know, sometimes you're just due for a good run. We played some rough matchups. Admittedly, we played against some easy matchups, but I don't think there was a single match that was actually easy. Even the final match against Tron for the 5-0 was challenging, and I think it ended up being won by a Deflecting Palm to end the league. So that felt like a very apropos moment. But doing a little bit earlier stream tonight, see how that goes. This is stream number 3 for the week, so I have one more stream to do. I will probably not be streaming tomorrow night because I intend on getting up earlier tomorrow morning. So we streamed on Sunday, yesterday, and today, obviously. So this hand's a little bit awkward. Effectively not beginning until turn 2. Even on the play, this hand is a little bit questionable. I still think we keep it, but once again, this hand is a little bit questionable just from, you know, basically an old 2-drop hand, and then Skewer the Critics can be a 1-drop in certain circumstances. So, let's play Wooded Foothills to pass the turn. Okay, looks like we're going to get Discard spelled. Yep. Probably take an Eidolon here would be my guess. Either Eidolon or Boros Charm. Be the 2 cards that I would suspect. Maybe Lightning Helix if they have like a Bob they want to protect, but I feel like this is more of a, well, okay, so they probably just have an answer to Boros Charm, not Boros Charm, to Eidolon. Just fine. You know, we still play it out next turn. This gives away information, but, you know, we still got to preserve our life total in certain spots. Figure this Eidolon's either going to be invalidated by a Tarmogoyf or flat out killed. So, looks like we might just be up against straight up rock. Okay, Rope Decay, sure, do the thing. Boros Charm is kind of nice here. So I think because of the sequencing of our spells, we just have to do this main phase. It's, again, not ideal, but it's at a virtual 2. I feel like we're going to get Liliana here. But it could still be on Jund. Okay, looks like they're on Jund. Yep, there's a Liliana. Tick up. Probably pitch. Screw the critics here. Yeah. Force them to tick the Liliana up. Not sure they can ever realistically crack that fetch. Alright, sure. Feels like a blood elf. QB. Wow. Don't think I've ever seen that out of a John deck. Alright, so John's a little bit awkward. Yeah. Well, I did put the deck together the other night on stream. So what cards am I wanting to take out? First off, I want to take out Searing Blaze. If I'm bringing Roiling Vortex, I want to go down on Rift Bolts. That's 5 cards I want to take out. Probably shave an Eidolon at least on the draw. So do I just go like this? This is one of those matchups where I really struggle with Deflecting Palm. Like some spots it's like really amazing, and other spots with all their discard it's just terrible. So we're gonna bring it in this game, and then they might play around it if they see it this game. I could also bring in Relic to like blank Tarmogoyfs. So many options with this particular build. We just do it like this. Speaking of which, War Dog, you still need to get back to me on what donation deck list you want to see, man. I already did Ando's, so yours will be, if you get back to me before whoever, yours will be first up next week. No, I understand. I'm just reminding you. Life happens, dude. It's not a big deal. I completely understand that certain things are far more important than Magic. And I'm sorry for your buddy, man. That sucks. So either they kept a Collective Brutality hand or they kept a Fatal Push hand. Guess I'll find out here in a second. Well, I mean, either way, our Goblin guy got in 2 damage and didn't draw them a card, so that's a positive, I guess. So you have to get a basic forest, or, yep. So Tarmogoyf. Tarmogoyf would be a 1/2. Feels like a brutality. Yeah. Okay. I think this is a Boros Charm or a Deflecting Palm. Take Lava Spike. Interesting. Okay. Double deflecting palm. That's awkward. Sure. Awkward spot for our opponent now. Sure. Deflecting palm doing its thing. I was actually dumb to fire off that lava spike, because now let's just pray whatever the last card in hand it isn't Weather the Storm. Alright, nice to get the win against Jun. A little bit of a spicier version of Jun, but I have to look at the lists. I'm not really sure. Like, Waste Not and Legacy seems interesting, but I don't know like how effective it is. Oh yeah, I'm not. I was more referring to the QB. This hand is... At the moment it is, Foss. Sometimes it's completely terrible. This hand, once again, is awkward, but I do think we keep it, especially on the draw against an unknown opponent. Okay, Tron. So the fact that they are not playing a spell on one leads me to believe this is probably Eldrazi Tron. Which could be terrible for the home team. Yep, here comes Chalice. Well, I haven't played Legacy in several weeks either, so it's kind of hard to get a gauge for the format myself. Alright, guess it's saying we need to cast this, hopefully we don't flip a land or another Matter Shaper. Expedition map, sure. So they can Thought Not Seer us, I guess, this turn. Reality Smasher would be annoying. Yep. Question is, do they race or do they... Awkward. A lot of things this could be. Most of them are not good for the home team. Uh, 1-0 so far. We beat Jund. We're up against Eldrazi Tron now, game 1. So, decent so far. Opponent's got the boot. There's any number of ones that work. I Are we dead? Wow. That's a heck of a combination of cards to have. MTG Goldfish usually works pretty decently. There's a few others that do from time to time. Alright, we want the Deflecting Palms, we want the Wear Tears, we want the Path to Exiles. Good grief. 2 in 1 shot, jeez. Eidolons come out. Searing Blazes usually come out. I want to become famous. Well, there's famous and then there's infamous. I know some people become infamous more easily than famous, probably. Am I okay with being just dead to Chalice on 1? I think yes. Like, this hand has rather a large upside. No. Nope, nope, nope. I would say Bogles is harder. I would say Ad Nauseam's harder. I would say Humans is harder. I would say I would probably actually say Death and Taxes is probably harder. They kept the 1-lander. You can't do that, friend. You can't keep 1-landers with your deck. I think the white-based aggressive decks are harder. Opponent begins the game with 7 cards in hand. 3, 6, 9, 13, 16. There's so many things that could go wrong with this hand. Still think we keep it. Overall, Foz, it's been positive. I think it is a... It's a card that's going to wane and wax with the format. The more aggressive the format is, the worse it gets. The more mid-range and controlling the format gets. Are we about to get turn 2 Thought Not Seared? Yep, turn 2 Maze Mind Toned. Okay. Don't know if that was the worst thing that could happen to us here. Obviously, them gaining 4 life on a stick and being able to do the thing kind of sucks, but, you know, is what it is. We just do the thing, do the thing. This is the problem with, like, straight up burn hands, is they just struggle against decks that don't deal damage to themselves. I feel like we're going to get either Thought Not Seared. Nope. Okay. Reality Smashed. It's probably, like, the least of all evils here. Alright, alright. I think we Helix, even though it's less damage. I don't want to die on the backswing to another Reality Smasher. Alright, what you got? Okay, that's irrelevant. I think this matchup might have among the most feel-bads because Chalice just, like, can invalidate so many cards in our hand one way or the other. But I don't think it's the worst matchup, at least if you look at, like, a raw win percentage. I think the feel-bads in the matchup are a lot higher than a deck like Humans or even Bogles. Like, Bogles, you generally know you're dead. This deck is just kind of like... Well, if they have Warping Whale, we're in some trouble here. If they don't, they're just dead. So we got to go for it. All right. But to complete your answer, your question, Foz, before the format got Death Shadowed and Human and Death and Taxed, when it was like Uropile versus Tron versus like regular Prowess, it was pretty effective in 2 of those 3 matchups. So, and there was more Jund decks that were out to play at that point in time. So, it was main deckable at that point. At this point, it's just not main deckable because there are so many pseudo-aggressive decks, whether it be Humans, Death Shadow, Taxes, etc. You know, while I don't completely classify Death and Taxes as an aggressive deck, it's an aggressive base mid-range deck with obviously some disruption. We are on the play. This hand seems solid enough. The one weakness is we're going to be taking a lot of damage this game, but we kind of show our opponent what we're here to do. We're here to spike you. We're here to spike you, Lottie. And they're here to Tron us. Alright. Gonna get one for the For them Eldrazi lads again, eh? Did you keep a one-liner, lad? I'm gonna say, why are you going to the second main phase? I don't know why you do that, laddies. It's kind of annoying, right? Especially when I'm not doing nothing. Here's a chalice before you go. So... GQ's a little weird. Here comes Chalice Claws, here comes Chalice Claws. Right down Chalice Claws lane. Doesn't really matter at the moment. We're just going to play another Eidolon. Eidolon's not usually good in this matchup, especially if we get TKS'd, which is likely a play they have lined up here right now. Oh yeah. Input 2. Oh, Chalice? It's a lot harder for them to get to Chalice on 2 in a timely manner and against a good game of Burn. Now we get to play an interesting game. Searing Blaze means their TKS dies. We're definitely swinging. We're just a swinging. I mean, we could potentially keep both Eidolons in the field, but I'm not sure I want to take 8 damage to cast these. Just to get rid of the Thought-Knots here. Put them to 9. If they don't block, put them to 3. Yes, I am very ready for Christmas. This year has sucked, and at least there's something to look forward to. Relatively, to a lot of people, this year has sucked. I'll put it that way. So yes, I am definitely ready for Christmas. Okay, sure. Pretty good exchange overall for us. Get to draw a card. It's a land, so it kind of sucks, but... 5. Hope we draw well from here. Oh yeah, the only thing about this year that was relatively rough is when the girlfriend and I were kind of having our rough patches. We about to get chaliced on 2. Either chalice on 2 or a walking ballista. Okay, sure. So what, we have 5 outs to actually win this game? Probably won't be as much this year. My brother and sister-in-law moved about an hour and a half away this summer. My girlfriend is approximately 4.5 hours away now because of things. So there's not going to be a lot going on this year. I still have my parents and my sister and her family. Well, I believe that, as they say, is a wrap. Those are the games that make Eldrazi Tron feel completely miserable. Chalice on 1, Chalice on 2, Chalice on 3. Ha 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 ha. Oh, by the way, on tonight's community page post about the stream, I also asked a question toward the bottom of what y'all's favorite movies is. So if y'all could answer that question, that'd be great. I think. Ugh. This hand's really, really awkward. Casablanca. Interesting. The only reason I'm mulling over this hand so much is, first off, there's a canopy land. Second off, we have a goblin guide, which could potentially deal 4 to 6 damage. Well, potentially, will at least deal 4 damage, could deal as much as 6 before it's answered or negated. So that's like very tempting to keep. Can do a top 5, I don't really care. I'm going to keep, but this hand's definitely a risk. Fetching to thin a little bit since we don't have any blazes in our deck. Like, I happen to know what my favorite movie is, so. Of all. Oh, we're handing over an Eldrazi Temple. Cool. Boom, 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 boom. Ghost is a good one. It's been a while since I've seen that one. One of the few movies where Whoopi Goldberg was good at acting. I guess that's not fair, because she was in Sister Act, too. Kind of forget about that in the grand scheme of things, you know? Really hoping we don't get Thought Nazi next turn. Dismember? Sure. So at least the goblin die did 6 damage like we wanted it to. The question is, can we top deck the rest of the way out of this mess before we get locked by? Secret of Kells. Not familiar with that one. Sure. Wow. I mean, I know we started with 4 lands, but did we really have to draw 2 more? Chalice on 2 is going to be brutal. It's like they're very set on their Chalice hands. Indeed they are, Ando. How you doing tonight? Were you here for last game, Ando, when we got Chalice locked on 1, 2, and 3? That's how the 5-0 dream dies, it looks like. Karn, sure. Don't think Karn's going to be relevant this turn. Next turn it might be, but don't think it's going to be relevant this turn. I have my 5th Chalice staffed away in my sideboard. Why would you... Sure. Skewer or Riftbolt. Why would you grab a card you can't cast? Alright. There's our Skewer. Seems to be a very good Eldrazi Tron opponent. It's a deck with a certain amount of skill to it. Like, this opponent really knows what the key cards in the matchup are. Plus, they've been able to keep 7 card hands. That generally helps, too. Yeah, if you draw Eldrazi Tron or Eldrazi Temple every game, your hands are pretty good, usually. Especially if we get locked on Chalice. It's going to be especially brutal this game. Dismember? Yeah. Okay, at least we're not getting shallowest. I guess I can't complain there. Do I want to do that? Or do I just want to hold up? I think I just... This is really rough, right? Like, we don't want to get stuck with 1 mana casting cost spells in our hand, but at the same time, we want to be able to trigger Skewer the Critics. Yep. Glad we held up this. Sure. Take your pick. It's a beautiful morning. Kind of a tough decision for our opponent. Do they take some of our damage, or do they take one of our 2 pass to clear the way for their next threat? Not an easy decision. It's really a 2-for-2 trade. Like, they take a card, we path them, they get a land, they draw a card, we draw a card. So, they took a lightning bolt. Okay. Can respect that decision. Getting really awkward, but I think we just keep a path here in case they have another TKS. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So they have 6 Eldrazi mana, 5 mana for anything else. None of the utility lands are particularly relevant here. Chalice. Karn. Karn grabbing what? Probably liquid metal coating. Chalice of the Void. They kept a Chalice in their sideboard? Brutal. Forsaken Monument. That one's going to be a little bit rough to beat. At least it doesn't have the card type Eldrazi, so even if they do play it, they can't get any immediate effect from it. Chalice on 2 is pretty bad for us, not gonna lie. I actually hope they play the Forsaken Monument this turn. Like, yeah, it means bad things happen to us, but it also means we get in more damage. Alright, looks like they're going to play the Monument. Sure. They're just going to play the Chalice to gain life. Okay. Okay, okay. Respect, opponent. Respect. I don't know what else is hanging out in their sideboard, and I really don't want to find out. Like, I don't want to get hit by a Trinisphere or a Worm Coil Engine out of the sideboard. And then they have another card anyway, so it really doesn't matter. Looks like we're just going to get overpowered. Like, Karn is one of the sideboard pieces, especially with a deck full of mana, that I just don't like sticking around on the battlefield. Because there's just too many toys that people can have access to. Walking Ballista. That one's mildly annoying. So they're going to 11 here. Thought-Knot Seer, Reality Smasher. Sure, Reality Smasher's whatever. So they have access to... Walking Ballista for 2 isn't going to really do a whole lot here. I guess it is because it's going to be an X2 plus 2. So we're just going to get out life gained into Oblivion here. Was bad for a card game. Indeed. Indeed. So Ballista is going to get to kill something here. It's up to them what they decide they want to kill. This game is just over. Like, there is some possibility we could rally back, but a not Torpor, but Trinisphere just locks us there, so. Maybe I was supposed to go face with that Skewer. Kind of hard to say for sure on that one. Pretty sure I recognize this name from somewhere anyway. Fuma. Oops, somehow they don't have... Oh, nope, they definitely have some... whatchamacallits. I'm like, I thought I recognized that name from somewhere. Sounds pretty good, especially on the play. Its only real weakness is lack of interaction with creatures. Okay, so Uro pile. Is the turn 1 God draw good enough to beat Uro pile? Guess we'll find out. Land, please. I think we actually have to just attack with... So if I Boros Charm, they don't have Force of Negation, they go to 11. They go to 11. 9, 7, 5. Yeah, it's not worth it. There's a Turfluffle, which is annoying, but really, if they're paying mana to Teferi next turn, I think I'm cool with that. Especially since they just handed us a... because they'd have to likely go to 12. I think I do throw out a Boros Charm just to kind of overload their mana a little bit. This isn't quite lethal, but it is a lot of damage. Got Force of Negation this. Okay, Growth Spiral, sure. Shocking. Okay. What are you shocking for here? You're shocking to concede. Okay. I respect that. Vortex in Relics in Path to Exile, question mark. Path to Exile is a question mark because we don't know if they're on Omnath or not. Bring those in. With Utopia Sprawl, not Utopia Sprawl, Growth Spiral in their deck. They're not likely to be on a Blade version of the deck that we ran across before. What are the cuts? Riftbolt's got to go out because we saw 3 Fairy, and we're bringing in Roiling Vortex. And Skewer might be a cut here. Lightning Helix might also be a cut. Just because of efficiency circumstances. I think we're keeping this hand. It is risky with the 1-lander, but alright, just got better, obviously. Do you have Boulder Path? Presume you wouldn't Path here, you might Bolt. Nope, just nothing. We have no particular play against Uro here, so we're just going to attack, probably play Eidolon, let them do whatever they're going to do, and then hope we don't get Uro'd into the ground. So Aether Gust and Uro would be like the worst case scenario. Remand would also be mildly annoying here. I think I actually put this on bottom. Just because we have so many other spells, we really want to draw lands at this point. And obviously if they have Uro here, we're pretty much dead. Yep, they're moving too quickly. It's either Uro or Teferi. I'd rather see Teferi, honestly. Nope, it's an Uro. Shocker, right? So it doesn't look like they can get Uro back this turn. So I think I'm just supposed to do the thing into the thing. Put them to 9. Okay, grow spiral, sure. Well, hello there. Do you have another answer? Guess we'll find out here in a sec. God bless America. Do you have an answer to this? Please don't have an answer to this. How many Path Exiles are you gonna draw? Jeez. Apparently the answer is all of them? Nice. Oh, man. Huh. Yeah, that I don't understand why they didn't bring back Uro there. That is kind of a questionable decision on their part. This hand is painful, but very good. Definitely a keep. There is some consideration against an unknown opponent to keep a fetch land handy for a Searing Blaze effect, but I think just overall in the dark game one, you just want to Alright, so another blue deck of some kind. Possibly blue-white control. Oh yeah, taste the damage. Opponent, taste the damage. Alright, nope, they are also an Uro pile deck. Okay, so if you have Path to Exile, we're in trouble, but I think we have to go all in this turn. Well, hello there. So 4 damage, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So if they don't have Path or Force of Negation, they're just dead here. There's a decent chance they can have one or the other. Feels like Force of Negation. Pitching to Fairy Hero Dominaria. Obviously, if they have Uro, we're in some trouble. Trigger. Cleansing Wildfire. Okay, they're Jeskai. They are the Cleansing Wildfire Jeskai deck. Which means they do have some amount of Lightning Helixes and such, which could be just about or more difficult to beat than Uro, potentially. Okay, Snapcaster Path. Is that your play here? Cleansing Wildfire. Okay. So they could have Path. Could have a lot of things here. Path or Bolt. They have a Bolt on top. Rough. Still think we put them to 1. Just need to be foil. For what? The Path to Exile? See, I'm a huge disc proponent of foil cards. A lot harder to foil without, you know. Snapcaster would be really bad here, obviously. Lightning Helix would be pretty terrible as well. Okay, that's a concession lockup. Nice. Whirling Vortex. Relics in some number might be reasonable. String Blazes are generally pretty bad. Firewalker is a cute one. Like, they're attacking our mana with, like, Field of Ruin and Cleansing Wildfire. Question is, what am I cutting in this spot? Like Rift Bolts, I guess? Especially since they likely have Teferi Time Raveler on top of things. Yeah, especially like, I don't have the kind of money for Guru lands anyway. Like, I think on Magic Online they're significantly cheaper, but I prefer, like, some amount of... Huh. Well? This card hand's interesting. Guess we keep this one? It's a good bit of their interactions Path to Exile. Oh, they may well be. I'm not sure. Kind of hoping they path us here, if we're being completely honest. Trigger. Get them a land. Alright. 2 damage is also acceptable. I just prefer the full art lands, honestly. So. Cleansing Wildfire would actually be pretty rough for us here. Their deck also runs Flagstones of Trocaire to get advantage from things and stuff for 100, Alex. It's varied over time, honestly. I'm going to do this to force them to interact with the Goblin Guide, not get free value off of it. This does give them more information about that they have to deal with Eidolon. So they're probably going to Ether Gust this, would be my guess. Question is, what do we do if they Ether Gust it? That's an interesting question. I do believe we put it on the bottom. I really like the Cleansing Wildfire. Sure, that's whatever. They spend their turn doing that. I'm perfectly fine. I like the original ones from the set. Those were my favorites for a long time. And I like the ones that are in this deck currently. These ones I really like. And then the ones from the most recent unset I was a huge fan of as well. Okay, so they're taking their turn to do that. Which is fine, which means our whatchamacallit would have been shuffled anyway, even if I'd left it on top. Alright, so do this. Do this. Timely reinforcements. Well, that's kicking the balls. I don't know what you're thinking about here, friend. It's a pretty easy timely reinforcements there. Land? Okay, land is good here. I'm going to chunk in here, see what happens. Supreme Verdict. Yeah, I'm fine with Supreme Verdict. Boom, boom, boom. I think it's 2 blocks, 1 block. Okay, or that's fine as well. You know what would be a really funny card here is Boros Charm. Be a truly unfortunate card for our opponent. Yeah, I still think we gotta fire off the bolt here. We're in okay shape, but not great shape. So it feels like they have another Cleansing Wildfire in their hand. They both come into play tapped, I do believe. Plus they get to draw a card. Oh, the sick value. Become immense in Boros Charm. Yeah, that's definitely some interesting value. This is a spot where removing some of the lightning helixes might be problematic. Skewer the Critics can be really awkward in these situations. Sure. Cleansing Wildfire. Interesting choice. I'd almost think that they'd go for... timely reinforcements there. Goblin God's not a particularly good draw. Yeah, I mean, even so, it's still probably a card you cash in while you have the opportunity. I think we have to fire off some spells here. I don't think this is an opportunity to win the game, but it is one of the opportunities we might have to win the game here, if that makes any sense. Okay, so they have Ether Gust or something here. Lightning Helix, perhaps. Feels like a Lightning Helix, and we're going to get blown out. Yep. Shouldn't have gambled. So we can put them to 1. 1 is not 0. Still think we do it. Force some negation? Yep. Oh, Boros Charm off the top could potentially kill them. They pitched, what, another Supreme Verdict? So they have multiple copies of Supreme Verdict. Obviously, Timely Reinforcements would just end things. Or we could just get burned out potentially here, depending on what's in their hand. That's not a particularly exciting draw. Trigger. Another land. Jeskai has always been a historically difficult matchup, so I guess I shouldn't say I'm surprised that this is going to a game 3. Goes best with burn. Brownies and ice cream? I suppose. This hand is risky. I think I'm going to keep the aloe vera. Give them a land. Nope, to Fair Town Rattler. Okay. Land, please. Alright, well, that's a painful land, but it's a land. Actually, that is dumb. They have Lightning Helix in their deck. Not that they're likely to jam a Lightning Helix, but, you know, they can, potentially. Cleansing Wildfire. Lightning Bolt. Fine. So they both come into play tapped, right? So I don't have anything to play around here. So they could Teferi plus counterspell. That'd be a little rough. Okay, going to 7. Nice. That does require a response, doesn't it? Lightning Helix. Oop. Okay. Sure. Alright, I mean, first we start with Lava Spike. And we try Skewer the Critics. Yeah. Pretty sure we're dead here. Okay. Hmm. Taking all Snapcaster Mage to boot. It's a disappointing way to end the league. Jeskai was definitely one deck that I was glad to see disappear from the meta. Not gonna lie there. It's definitely a rough matchup for Burn. Especially with when it's properly prepared with Lightning Helixes and timely reinforcements. So, I'm kind of not happy that Aspiring Spike helped bring that back into the format. Wait, I thought we were playing Burn, not them. Ha. 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 So, 3-2 overall. Lost 1 of 2 matches to Eldrazi Tron. Lost kind of a long, grindy affair to Jeskai without seeing Roiling Vortex or anything, plus kind of getting locked by 3 Fairy there. You know, those are matchups that I'm never exactly like thrilled to see as a Burn player. The fact that we escaped with basically a 2-2 record against decks that we're pretty bad against is fairly decent, so I can't really complain there. The build still seems pretty solid overall. Its one weakness, obviously, is the lack of enchantment or artifact hate, with only running 2 copies of Wear Tear, no smashes or anything. So, pretty reasonable evening. You have a good night, Foz. Thanks for tuning in, man. Going to be wrapping up the stream for tonight. I could go on and do some World of Warcraft, but I'm just pretty tired. My sleep schedule's been kind of out of whack the last couple of days, so I figured I was going to get to bed here after this league. I will not be streaming tomorrow night. I'll be back Friday night. I'm not sure what I'm going to be streaming at. I might go ahead and bust out Sultai, Shardless Sultai, just to get a feel for Legacy in case War Dog decides he wants his Rakdos Waste Not deck played. The only problem I have with Legacy is sometimes Legacy can take a while, so we'll see on that. Might end up being a 2-night affair, depending on how the league goes, but I'm probably leaning towards Shardless Sultai that night. But hope everybody has a great night, and thanks for tuning in. This has been John for MTG Nexus. I'm going to send you guys over to Ghost, so hope if you all enjoy Modern, please consider going over there. He's probably streaming Mill at the moment. I know he was streaming Mill earlier, so go ahead and say hi to Ghost. I'll be over there for a bit, but I'm going to be going to bed myself. So